Welcome to Neuroscience Updates, presented by Naidi Bahradian. I'm an electrical engineer who has passion for neuroscience. Within this video, you are going to hear about the latest updates of neuroscience.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about a research paper of title A Clinical Trial of Transcranial Electromagnetic Treatment in Alzheimer's Disease, Cognitive Enhancement and Associated Changes in Cerebrospinal Fluid, Blood and Brain Imaging. Some encouraging news for the millions of Americans suffering from Alzheimer's disease. NeuroEM Therapeutics today announced findings from an open-label clinical trial showing a reversal of clinical impairment in Alzheimer's disease for patients after just 2 months of treatment using the company's wearable head device for in-home treatment. Results demonstrate that EMT was safe in all 8 participating patients with mild to moderate AD and enhanced cognitive performance in 7 of them, as measured by their ADAS cognitive score, which is the benchmark of testing AD therapeutics. The study is being published in the new issue of the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease. The investigators had previously demonstrated that treating AD patients, AD mice, with electromagnetic waves in the radio frequency range resulted in protection against memory impairment in young AD mice and reversal of memory impairment in aged AD mice. For the present clinical study in humans, the investigators used the same treatment twice daily for 1 hour through creation of NeuroEM's first-in-class memory EMTM-based device. The device has multiple highly specialized emitters positioned within a head cap that are activated sequentially, with treatment easily administered in home by the patient's caregiver. As well, the device allows for near complete mobility to perform nearly all household activities during treatments. Perhaps the best indication that the 2 months of treatment was having a clinically important effect on the AD patients in the study is that none of the patients wanted to return the head device to the University of South California Bird Alzheimer's Institute after the study was completed. The investigators indicated that they have strong evidence that TEMT is directly affecting the Alzheimer's disease process by easily penetrating the brain and brain cells to break up aggregates of the 2 toxic proteins known as A beta and tau. TMT's ability to disaggregate both toxic proteins inside the brain cells neuron appears to be key to stopping and reversing the cognitive loss of AD. Present AD drugs in clinical trials have great difficulty getting into the brain and then into the brain cells. Even if they succeeded in doing so, they do not have yet the capacity to target the small aggregates of A beta and tau proteins that appear to be causative to AD. NeuroEM Therapeutics is planning for a pivotal clinical trial to begin recruitment of approximately 150 mild moderate AD subjects later this year for treatment with the company's Memer EMTM device. If that trial shows continued safety and cognitive benefits, NeuroEM Therapeutics plans to ask the FDA for approval of the Memer EM device for the treatment of AD. The clinical locations for this multi-site trial have not yet been determined. After 2 months of treatment administered at home by their caregivers, none of the 8 patients in the study exhibited any deleterious side effects on behavior and physiologic measures as recorded by caregivers on a daily basis. Moreover, post-treatment brain scans revealed no visible induction of tumors or brain bleeding called microhemorrhages. Using the benchmark ADAS task to assess a variety of cognitive measures, 7 of the 8 AD patients collectively responded to treatment with a 4+ point increase in cognitive performance by the end of 2-month treatment period. The results indicate a very large and clinically important effect. Since AD patients typically show a 4+ point decline in ADAS cognitive performance over a given 1-year period, the 4+ point improvement provided by TEMT was as if the treated patients have gone back in time to their better cognitive performance of 1 year earlier. The most likely explanation for continued benefit after stopping of the treatment is that the Alzheimer's disease process itself was being affected. Cognitive abilities were improved in other tasks as well, wherein clinical importance increases in word recall were present after treatment for 2 months and at 2 weeks thereafter. Even a 50% reduction in forgetting was observed in this important task. In addition to cognitive assessment, the study also involved analysis of the AD markers in both the blood and the cerebrospinal fluid known as CSF before and at the end of the 2-month treatment period. These AD markers were changed in direction expected for TEMT, disaggregating the two toxic proteins A-beta and tau that appear to be the disease's root causes. Also, MRI brain scans in individual AD patients revealed evidence of increased communication between neurons in brain area critical for cognitive integration called the cingulate cortex. The investigators believe that TMT may be an entirely new therapeutic intervention after Alzheimer's disease against Alzheimer's disease and that the NeuroEM's bioengineering technology may be succeeding where brain therapy against this devastating disease has thus far failed. Based on the findings and the enthusiasm for continued treatment that all patients expressed, patients were offered and accepted continued TMT in a now ongoing extension study averaging 17 months between initial study start and extension study finish. The open label study was a single center, single arm trial in 8 patients 63 years old and age and older with mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease to evaluate the safety and initial efficiency of transcranial electromagnetic treatment (TMT). Patients were enrolled at the University of South Florida Health Bird Alzheimer's Institute, which also conducted most clinical study assessment. Treatment was administered in the patient's home by caregivers, whether the spouse or relative, using the memory EM device. Patients received the EMT for 1 hour period twice daily for 2 months. Although limitations for this study include the small number of the subjects, not having a control group and being of relatively short treatment duration, 120 treatments were administered in home and the cognitive benefits observed were clinically important, meaningful at the highest levels, providing additional credibility to the observed cognitive enhancement were the beneficial changes in AD markers in blood and CSF as well as the enhancement in the brain MRI imaging.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, don't forget to like and follow my page so that you can get other updates in the future. Thank you.